So, good morning, guys. As promised, my little workshop tour. Um, this is my workshop. It's 24 by, I think it's 5 or 6, and then down the bottom, tapes down to 4 foot down the bottom now. Did when I first moved in, we had one just up here, but that was just like a little 10 by 6, way too small. So my wife graciously suggested that we take that down and I build myself a workshop. So that's what I did. Built this myself. It's just PVC cladding on the outside, and starting from the left, working our way around. It's just a little jig I made up when I'm routing out. These were a couple of tools that go to one of my Parkside air tools, obviously squares, and that's just like a protractor. And then kept moving in, and then come down to, I've got my Parkside compressor. I fitted an aftermarket water drainer on it, just so it's an easy drain. Just chuck the tar hose outside, and I ain't got to keep dragging that thing outside then. And next to that, I've got my Parkside bench sander, a couple of bang clamps, and in that box is all my resin. Got a couple of other bits. I mean, these are just shavings. It's Purple Heart, and I've got some American Black Walnut as well. They're just shavings I decided to keep. And then coming up, saw blades, impact driver and drill, and bottle opener. Everyone has to have a bottle opener. Then I've got my airline. That's just a normal water catcher. Moving up, I've got my brad nailer and Parkside nibbler. And moving up above that, just some stuff that came in a kit. I mean, it was Parkside from Aldi's. Came with like a couple of spray containers, an airline. That is like a cleaner. You put your cleaning fluid in it and you can clean stuff. And then come along, that's my other airline. That one is for my air tools, so it has a water catcher and an oiler. Moving down from there, that's a paint pot which has been converted into a pressure pot for when I do my castings. Just next to that, I've got some pigments and some biscuits, and then I've got all my spirit levels, straight edges, then my corner clamps and hold downs, and that is a Parkside sandblaster, which I haven't had any reason to use yet because I've had nothing that needed sandblasting. And down this end, I mean, that's my boy's bit. That's my oldest boy, that's his little end, it's his little corner. More Parkside. I mean, I've got my Parkside compound saw stand and my dust cyclone. Made that a couple of years ago. I think it was at least 2 years ago. Made that. Haven't had to empty the bag on the shop vac yet. It all goes in that bucket and just gets emptied from there. Then moving along, I've got my DeWalt bandsaw. Does me, same little bandsaw. Don't need anything bigger. And then just hiding behind that, I've just got some router bits and router attachments. Then above that, I've got my saw. I've got a bow saw, hacksaw, a couple of normal saws, and then my flush trim saw, hand towels. These are the little Parkside. These are all Parkside, but they're all just those little attachments. You can put in drills and ratchets and stuff. Moving down, I've got my hammers, a couple of Forstner bits, which I use for when I'm hogging out material. Coming down from there, I've got my biscuits. These, when I do my turning and you mix up resin to do some casting, any resin I've got left over, I've got like a silicone ice cube mould. Bung them in there, saves wasting the resin. So I've got that. Now I've got my Parkside bench grinder. Don't use the wheel, only ever use the belt on that. Then I've got my pillar drill Just above that I've got my heat gun, Parkside drill, and that's just a cheap cordless drill. All my common used drill bits, so they're next to my drill press or pillar drill. They're my F-clamps, a little rack. I'm moving along from there. I've got my disc sander and little cabinet I made just to keep all my discs in, just so I know when I'm getting low, so I know when to order some more. And then I also have some grinding discs, a couple of aftermarket Axminster tool rests, and then I've got some wood turning tools, all my gouges, fire extinguisher, got my little lamp down here, and I've got my little, I think it's 2.5 inch chuck. I've got this chuck is for doing when I do my pens. Drill chuck obviously for when I'm hogging out material on my bowl gouge, when I'm doing bowls and stuff, and that's just a little spindle adapter. Then I got my tool rest extender, centre drive. Moving along from there, just some common little bits like a few spanners that I'm always going to need. And I've got all my flatheads, all my adjustable spanners, and then all my Phillips. Couple of sets of Allen keys, one now, and nice set there. There are just a couple of bits I use on my whetstone sharpener, little fuse box. That's just some bits. Right. If you don't want to keep throwing blades away or keep replacing them, get yourself a blade sharpener. Great little bit of kit. On top, that's just my centre finder. Underneath, that's just a little storage area. It's just I've got a couple of blanks that are ready to be turned. Get my micro sanding papers. Heater, because it gets cold, so you need a heater. Then I've got my whetstone, replaced the normal wheel, got an aftermarket CBN diamond wheel, again from Axminster. Brilliant, I mean you can't fault that. It's a one-off purchase, buy it and that's it, never need to replace it, never needs facing. So only thing is with that, you can't use normal water. Well, you can use normal water, but you have to put an additive in it, which is this stuff. It's like an anti-corrosion thing. Put that in there with it, and then coming down, I've got my chest of drawers. That's just got all my normal bits in it, just general stuff. So my raw plugs, multi-tools, wire strippers, adjustable grips. Moving up, a few bits of sandpaper, just like little screws and odd screws and bolts and nuts and washers. Moving up, my tape measure, my packs of washers, a couple of packs of drill bits that I don't really use that often. Scales, got scales for when I'm measuring out my resin, and face mask for when I'm turning. And moving up from there, I've got all my pen boxes for when I make my pen kits. All my pen kits are in now. That's the silicone mould I was talking about. That's for when I've got waste resin or over resin. I don't want to just throw it away. And then coming up to my Craft Axminster lathe. I think it's 1200, so I can turn anything up to 1200 long on it. or 1200 mil, so 1 meter 200. Manually adjustable. A lot better than the one I did have. The one I had, you actually had to take the back off, loosen the motor, move the belt over on a pulley, tighten it back up, put the cover back on, and then carry on. I'm going to do a full review on this. I've had this about 3 years now, so I think I've had it long enough to know what it's like, so I'm going to do a full review on that at one point. Then coming down from there, I've got my cordless circular saw, and that's just my big hammer drill. And that one is just a jigsaw and a little palm sander, little socket set, and they're just like a drill bit set. Moving along from there, and I've got chisels, got my staples and brad nails. This is a Parkside glue gun, which is brilliant because I mean it's cordless, so it heats up on a stand, move away, and you can do whatever you need to do. Then I've got another jigsaw. I've got a wood turning kit, got from Aldi's, Work Zone. It's alright. I mean, if you want to engrave something on the bottom of a bowl or something you're making. Then I've got Parkside air nibbler. That goes up with the other one. Then I've got another Parkside brad nailer. That one is loaded with staples, just so I don't have to keep swapping out the blue one. That's a Parkside air multi-tool, just a grinder. That's a pin nailer, JCB I think. Yeah, JCB pin nailer. It's alright for putting like backs on wardrobes and stuff like that. Little Parkside cordless multi-tool, hand plane. That's the rest of the kit that I've got for doing my pen turning. That's just some screws. Then I've got my Parkside cross laser level. Moving along from there, I've got the old Dremel, just a couple of little bits. I've got a digital angle finder and also a digital vernier. That's just my digital tape measure, Parkside again. And from there, I've got this little bit of kit. This is something that my youngest son bought me for Christmas. Right, so yeah, this is something like I say my youngest boy got me for Christmas. This is my carbide chisel set. Haven't had a chance to use it yet, but I'm looking forward to that. Just wanted this for when I'm turning resin, because resin kills your gouge, it kills the edge on the gouges. So just got that. And also my daughter brought me deluxe bowl sanding kit. So it's just got all the little bits in it, got the handle and got some weight to that. Unfortunately, and then next to that I've just got some of my glues, sanding sealer, a couple of finishes. I've got my palm router. This one also bought for me for Christmas, and this is my big 4-inch chuck, different drawer attachments. again, having a chance to use it. I mean, got it at Christmas and we're in March now, but I am not coming out here in -5 degree weather. And also then I've got my biscuit router, or my biscuit joiner router, what am I about? Biscuit router, or biscuit joiner again. Compound miter saw, which obviously goes to the stand that I've got. Extension lead. This is a stop-start remote for sander, so I put my Hoover in now when I'm turning anything on, like cutting anything on a table saw or use my biscuit joiner. Put that in there, and they've got a little remote to operate that, so I don't have to keep bending down to turn the Hoover on. Hand pump. I've got a chainsaw because I was given some big chunks of wood from a guy around the corner. Obviously needed to cut them down so I could get them onto the bandsaw to cut them round. But I mean, like I say, it's not a huge workshop, but it does me. It's my little place. Come and hide out and just relax. It's a place to come down to unwind when I'm not working, get away, come and do some bowls or do some pens or just do some woodworking. Just my way, like I say, my way of relaxing. Right, that's it for now, guys. I will do a full review on that lathe, Axminster lathe. Obviously this is only my second video, so I mean, any comments, any advice you can give me, just if you want to subscribe, please do so, and leave a comment and tell me where I could improve or what I need to improve. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks. Bye.